Greetings, loved one. Today we're going to continue talking about why your friend did not tell you that her husband was beating her. Please help us get these messages out. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button and the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. And please share these messages with others because you never know. By doing so, you could save a life. So let's start with a brief recap of the discussion we shared Friday of the two friends in the store, one who is a victim of abuse. So one day you bump into her at the grocery store and you're shocked by her appearance. She's always been so meticulous about how she dressed, especially in public. And now she's wearing sweatpants, which she swore she would never be caught dead wearing outside of the house or gym. Yet here she is, not only in sweats, but they're stained, and she's wearing a baggy t-shirt. Her hair, which is usually perfect, is now in a sloppy ponytail, and her fingernails, which are always well done, are ragged and unpolished, and she looks tired. But you're so happy to see her, you hug her, and she stiffens as though she's in pain, and you let go surprised, and you take a good look at her face. She won't meet your eyes. Her mouth trembles a little bit, and her lips are chapped, and you're wondering if that is a fading bruise on her cheeks. You're thinking, no, that must be the lighting. You say hello, but you can tell she's not really engaged in the conversation. You get the feeling that she wants to leave, that she's not happy to see you. You feel uncomfortable, but you can't exactly put your finger on why. How are you? This time you ask it, really wanting to know. And she's like, fine, really, I'm fine, just in a hurry. I need to get home. And then you're like, well, I won't keep you then. And something tells you that she isn't fine at all. You have this urge to pull her into your arms again, but you don't. And against your better judgment, you ignore your instincts and you send her on her way. But in your gut, you know that something is terribly wrong with your outgoing, vivacious, and beautiful friend. So here's what you don't know. Your friend would love nothing more than to fall into your arms and ask for help, but she won't. She can't. She's too ashamed. As awful as you think she looks, she believes she looks even worse. And in a relatively short period of time, her boyfriend has gotten into her head and convinced her that she's ugly, stupid, and worthless. So what do you do in this situation? So I want to give you some things that you can do to help your friend. The first thing you need to do is you need to trust your instincts. You know your friend. And from that encounter in the store, you know that something is wrong. So don't be afraid to follow up with her. And you can start that with a phone call, but you want to ease into it. Don't immediately launch into how she thinks she's being abused or anything like that. Because, if her abuser is at home when you call, she won't say anything of substance. You simply want to convey the message that you're concerned and want to help. So keep your words loving and gentle and pressure free. Say something like, I know you're busy now, but when you have a few minutes, can you give me a call? I'm worried about you. I want to help and I love you. Keep the call brief, but be clear. You're worried, you want to help, and you love her. And if she doesn't call back right away, call her again a few days later. You want to keep reaching out to her. Try to reach her when you know she's alone or at least away from him. Remember, your goal is to help, not to endanger her any further. And you need to be prepared for her denials. Shame, guilt, fear, and even worry for your safety will keep her from opening up to you. So just gently remind her that if she's in the kind of trouble that you suspect, she has no reason to be ashamed. You love her and respect her and just want to help. The reality is that gentle persuasion may not work. Real intervention, possibly involving law enforcement, may be required. If that's the case, don't attempt to handle this on your own. But I want to make a comment here. Only do that in the moment of violence. Don't call and say, I suspect that she's being abused, because that's not going to be received well. We talked about that in a prior episode. So you also want to involve other friends and family, and most importantly, seek professional guidance from the experts. Call the National Domestic Hotline at 1-800-779-7233. I'm going to repeat that, and you can always pause the video and write the number down. The number for the National Domestic Hotline is 1-800-779-7233. Let the experts help you help her. You need to know that an abuse victim leaves her abuser on average 7 times before she leaves for good. So even if your friend leaves this time, she might go back. And this is where your friendship will really be tested. You're going to be disappointed, and you may even be angry that after all the work you did to help her escape, she willingly goes back. Your anger is understandable, but an abuser's most lethal weapon is his ability to manipulate his victim's mind. Breaking his hold on your friend will take time, patience, professional help, and a whole lot of hard work on her part. You just have to keep loving and supporting her, even when she disappoints you. Please try to resist judging her. It will only make things worse. You know, it's painful to watch someone you love suffer from domestic abuse. It's also hard to understand why women stay with or return to the men that hurt them. But leaving is far more difficult than people think, and we do talk about this in prior episodes. Fear, lack of financial resources, and shame are just a few of the reasons women stay or return. If children are involved, it's even more complicated. Many women truly have nowhere to go, and shelters fill up fast, and few don't allow children, and shelters really are few and far between. There aren't enough of them. And sadly, as far as we've come with regards to strengthening laws to protect women, it's still way too easy for abusers to track down their victims and murder them. So some women just stay, hoping to survive another day. As friends and supporters of abuse victims, we need to be more educated about the dynamics and mechanics of domestic violence. And most of all, we need to shed our own preconceived notions about the victims. They need our support and empathy. The woman who shared her story in the last episode said, "I learned that the hard way. I used to sit in judgment of women who stayed with their abusers too, and I stayed on that high horse until the man I loved knocked me off with a punch." With 1 in 3 women experiencing domestic violence worldwide, the question is not if you will encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is, what will you do when you do encounter them? You could save their life. You're called. We are all called to be champions for justice. And those who suffer violence, they need to know that those who love them, and even people who don't even know them, will step out and reach out to them to give them the help and the courage they need before it's too late. Help us get these messages out. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button and notification bell so you don't miss any messages. And share them with others so someone who's suffering can see that they're in abuse. They can see it's not their fault. They can see there's a way out. And also for people like you who are not suffering violence, you can identify someone who is and know what to do. You might even save their life. If you're a victim of violence, this is part of my most passionate plea to you. Listen to me. You have heard lie after lie after lie after lie of being worthless and that nobody loves you and you're ugly and you're fat and you're stupid. But the truth is that you are valued, you are loved, you're intelligent, you are beautiful. God doesn't want you to suffer violence. He wants you to live free from violence in peace and tranquility. There is a way out. It's not your fault, and abuse is not love. If you are a victim of violence, please reach out to someone today. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, call 911 for help. Tomorrow, we're going to begin a series of episodes in which we discuss how domestic violence affects the children. Until then, God bless you.